Hey guys, it's Phil here, giving you our October update. Um, just going to do this real quickly so you guys just know we're okay. We have a lot going on. We wanted to get better at getting all these videos out every single month with the professional quality that I really like to do. But we just got noticed that we had to do a border run about a month quicker than what we had originally planned. And so we're trying to get all our homework. I'm trying to get all the homework done. uh, Trying to make sure we have all of our all of our paperwork ready, right? Because we're going through the Nicaraguan border, and so Nicaragua has these as well. If you're coming into our country, everybody has to be tested for COVID, and so we had to rush to a hospital today and get everybody tested for COVID, and which is always traumatizing for the kids because Allison handles it like a trooper. She kind of giggles and and Ethan got his first test and he was kind of crying a little bit. But Chuck, poor Chuck, man, you had to like almost alligator hold him. We had to have me and two doctors just to get him tested with the nose swab. And it's just so a little bit traumatizing for the kid. But we got through that today, and so he had to set up an appointment. So here I am trying to translate what's on the page. I had to have my site leader Andy come down and kind of walk me through the process. So I got all the Nicaraguan paperwork taken care of, and everything was supposed to be for early tomorrow morning. But then they said, well, probably be a little over 24 hours before you get test results back. I was like, so then we had to redo everything for Tuesday instead of Monday. So on the plus side, we get to leave a little bit early or later tomorrow. We don't have to leave at like 5:30 in the morning, but we still have to have everything ready to go by tomorrow. So then we have to pay Nicaraguan government for the pleasure of stepping foot into their country, and then we get to turn around and then we have all the paperwork to get back into Costa Rica. And there's like health passes, they call it, where for each individual you have to give all their passport information and say, hey, we haven't been around COVID, that whole mess. And we have to do that again for Costa Rica, and then pay the country of Costa Rica for the privilege of being here. So all of that takes a few hours to do as far as like the process of the border, but we're going to have to do that solo. So be praying for us on Tuesday. Our site leader is going to drive up to the border, and because like it was about he thought it was like about $100 per test. It turned out to be a bit cheaper than that, but our site leader, we didn't want to have to pay for another test. Trying to be good stewards of some of the finances and whatnot, and so he's going to drop us off at the border, and we'll be available to call him if we have any questions. But we'll go through the process, so just be praying for that. It's going to happen Tuesday afternoonish or morningish over there. But on the plus side, we get to see some volcanoes and some hot springs, which, I mean, that's always nice. And then I'll be going back to the hot springs later in November to do some more promos. Now, if you see on Facebook all the beautiful Costa Rican pictures and all the animals and everything like that, just know that if you want to come down here and you say like, man, I wish I was there, that's the whole point of my work with this business. It's a tourist business, and so I use my skills as a photographer and a videographer with a drone and with all these other cameras to try to capture the beauty of Costa Rica and encourage others to come and see this wonderful place through Atlas Travel and Study Abroad. You say, well, Phil, I thought you were doing missionary work. How is this helping the kingdom? And here, so I just want to just kind of explain to you, so you guys don't think like, oh man, they're on vacation, but in a very real sense, the business for transformation, or I like to call it like a business pastoralship, is how we use business to minister to people, and we want to give them the gospel, and we also want to tangibly help their lives. And so think, if we get a tour group down here, let's say a large one, we get to hire 2 buses. So not only does the owner of the bus company get some business, which helps him feed his family, the 2 drivers get business and helps them feed their family, the hotel that they stay in. Okay, think about the owner of the hotel, think about the people who work there, and COVID hurt the tourist industry. And tourism is, man, I think they said 80, 90 some percent of the whole economic system here in Costa Rica. And so when tourism went down, it wasn't like, oh, one small piece of the pie is missing. It's, oh my gosh, nobody has work. And so when I go out to these places, my job is to capture the beauty. My job is to capture these things, and I'm sure you can mentally go through and think, oh wow, so many jobs are affected by a tourist group coming in, and so we want to bless people financially in that way. However, there's a very real spiritual aspect to this too, because most of our target customers come from the United States, and they're from churches and from church schools or Christian schools and that kind of thing, and they come down for biblical educational trips. And so you have this bus driver who might not know anything about Jesus, or maybe was raised Catholic or atheist or who knows, and they sit through the classes and hear all about Jesus, and they sit with the Christians that come through, and they get to see a different way to live than what they've seen before. And so there's this whole different aspect in the ministry where we help them financially by getting more people to come down, but also the more Christians that come down and go through these programs that my site there offers, the hotel staff recognize as well, these Americans are different than the typical tourists that come down, or the bus drivers, and everybody that we touch. We try to love them with the love of Christ. And so there is some real tangible financial help that we can give, and also real tangible spiritual help that we can give. And sometimes those things aren't just separated. Life is messy and very intertwined. And so just wanted to let you guys know that we are working hard and trying to go out. We have a couple more trips to do, so you'll see more beautiful pictures and that kind of thing. And I hope that you guys enjoy those. But everything that we do, whether it's language learning, or it's the homework, or it's working with the business of Atlas, or even if it's having dinner with some friends of ours. Last night we got to have dinner with some good friends, and they don't know much English. I don't know much Spanish, and so most of the night was in Spanish. And they came over, and they asked me what I like to eat, and those of you know hamburgers, right? So they came and cooked Costa Rican hamburgers, which were delicious, and just a good family time, getting to know them getting to know us, and a lot of just trying to practice the language and making mistakes and people laughing and all that good stuff. So there's that. So other than just the typical day in and day out ministry stuff, just language learning, trying to learn as much of Spanish as I can. Bethany is so much quicker at this than I am. She's so much smarter at this than I am. And of course, she's had more, scholastic training, and I'm more of a hands-on, like conversations over dinner help me learn a little bit more than some of the scholastic type things. But I'm a simple man. I'm from the mountains. What are you gonna do? But it's been good to do language learning. Other than that, kids are doing well in school. We think we've got kind of a swing of things, how things work. Just getting to know some of the teachers a little bit through communications, and trying to figure out whether expectations, are the kids doing okay, and they're loving every minute of it, and they're making friends, and they're trying to learn the language too, and it's been fun. Chuck knows Ola, and he'll walk around and say that all the time. Ethan knows Ola, and he'll say that sporadically if he feels comfortable. And Allison, well, she's trying out all these different new Spanish words, and so our family has been going from somewhat English to Spanglish, which is a mixture of Spanish and English, depending on if we know the phrase or how tired we are. um, so there's that. So as far as prayer requests go, I pray that we learn the language, that God opens up doors. One thing I'll share with you is that since I've been down here, I've been doing a lot of prayer as far as more of a long-term calling. And that's a question many of you guys have asked, is what happens after Costa Rica? And I don't know yet, but I'm feeling some tugs in my heart and just trying to ask the Lord what is just emotion, what is just the scenarios I'm seeing, and where that's going. So if you guys, I'm not going to share too much on that yet. It's too, I think, premature. But if you guys can just hold us up in prayer as we go work through that, because it's not just me, it's us as a family. And then also be praying for Bethany's dad. He went through his I'm trying to remember if it was chemo. I think it was chemo, not radiation. I think it was just chemo. But the cancer treatments he was getting, and he went through that with very minimal side effects. They gave us a whole list of really nasty side effects that could happen, and like even his immunity is pretty good. Like his counts look great, and his attitude's been great, and so he got another scan to see if there's any brain tumor growth, and we don't know yet what that scan says, and we might not know until, I don't know if it's this week or next week or whatever, but just be praying for that. And then be praying for the people here. I ran across, I was at the fruit market, and I'm hoping to get some pictures for you guys. Last time I tried to get pictures, I'll tell you a story. Last time I tried to get pictures, there was, well, you guys know me, okay? Everything is awkward with me, but there was a man, and I was walking across the road, and the road actually came up to a hill, and there was a man, like, with no shirt on, skinny guy, and he's on this little tiny, like, tricycle that's like for a 3-year-old, and he's zooming down the hill. Well, I grab my camera, but I hesitate because, like, I never took a picture of someone, like, specifically in a city setting. I'm still a little nervous about that. More nature. Birds don't really complain if you're photographing them. But, guys, I take out my camera, and my site leader sees me hesitate. He goes, go ahead. He's not going to care. I take a picture, and this guy just jumps off of the tricycle and just rushes us. And he's very aggressive, very angry. He wants to know why I'm taking pictures. He wants to know what I'm doing there, where I'm going to put the pictures, all these things. And it turns out I stumbled into a homosexual community. And that's, I mean, come on. It's just like I always find myself in these somewhat, I don't want to call it erroneous, but these crazy situations. And I just simply explained to him, I said, man, like, why are you taking my picture? I said, well, dude, you're a grown man riding a kid's bike down a hill in the middle of the city. That's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Of course I'm going to take a picture. And he went from angry to flirtatious pretty quickly and apologized for being so rude, and of course asked for some colones for food. And so colones is just a currency here, and so it was just kind of it was interesting because it was like anytime we go out, there's always people who want a coin or a bill. They want money, but sometimes you got to be careful because, like, if you start doing that too much, all of a sudden there's a crowd around you, and it's not necessarily the safest thing to do. It's not necessarily the wisest thing to do. So he was asking for money right after he got really mad at me. He's like, "Oh, but could you spare some money for so I can eat?" And so I thought, well, okay, let's see. I'll tell you what. If you let me take your picture, I'll give you, and it's one mil colones, which I don't know what that translates to exactly. Bethany knows that by like the back of her hand, but it's very little, very little. And he let me take his picture. He actually modeled the bike, and did so fabulously, of course. But after everything was said and done, we got out of there, and it keeps like there's a funny humor of the story and the irony of, like, he's mad at me taking a picture, but I end up still getting a picture at the end, kind of thing. But my heart broke because as I looked at the picture and as I looked at everybody around him, there was this deep sense of like sadness. That if you go beyond the surface level of the goofy, there seemed to be a deep sadness there. And so, if you guys just pray for that community, for that guy, but also for opportunities that maybe sometimes I'm too much of a doofus to really take advantage of and really seek out, God's will for these situations. But just pray that God will open up doors for me to be able to minister. And maybe those doors look like just me learning the language right now, because it's hard to communicate God's love when you don't know the language. And so part of loving people right now is working hard at learning the language. So, but just pray for us as we start to reach out and just get in the community and meet people and try to love on people and do what God's called us to do. But this video is already getting a bit longer than I expected. But I will say this: if you have any questions, email us, Facebook us, whatever. We might not get back to you very quickly because of how crazy things are, and I'm really terrible at getting back, and I apologize for that. But we're going to do a paper or email update. Hopefully that'll be getting sent out tonight. But I want to do a video one for you guys as well. So I love you. I miss you guys back in the States. And thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you so much for praying for us as we live Christ's mission, as we make living normal, and as we go where God calls us to go. And sometimes we don't know exactly what we're supposed to do, but we just are here. Say, God, this is what we have. How can we help? What are you doing that we can be part of? And so just pray alongside us as we seek His face on this, and as we look toward the future too. And then also for our Nicaraguan border crossing, and Bethany's dad, and just the overall, the people will start coming down, the churches will start coming down, despite the COVID frenzy and everything, that churches and youth groups and groups will come down and see the beauty here, learn more about Jesus, and share the gospel just out of love and relationship with the locals. Well, that's all the time I have for tonight. God bless you. We got to get up tomorrow and drive to Nicaragua. So, well, God bless. And we will see you again next month, if not sooner. So, goodbye.